So we're reviewing translation or our transformations. If you add a number, that means you go up A. If you subtract a number outside the parentheses, you go down A. So here's my next question. Not at the moment. Let's see. Patrick. What does that mean? Very good. That means you go left A spaces, and this one means we go right A spaces. And now this means
Is that
we'll see. Kayla, what does that mean? By this means multiply the y values by A. Now, Henry, I think it was asking about compressor stretching. Well, that depends on what A is. If A is a big number, it stretches it. If it's a small number, it compresses it. Okay? And so let's do the next one. Natalie, what does that do? Divide the x's by the A. Okay? This is supposed to be an A, by the way. All right? And like once again, that could be a stretch or a compression horizontally depending on what the A is. Okay? Yes? Where? Values. Multiply your y values by A. All right, next one. Javier, what does this mean? That's right, it's a reflection. And when it's outside, it's a vertical reflection. So it flips the graph upside down. Okay, and therefore this, this flips it sideways. It's a horizontal reflection. So this is just review. But that's all the transformations that we've learned. If you do those things to the function, they'll get messed around with a little bit, right? So now we could do a bunch of these at one time. It doesn't have to be just one thing. That's all we've been doing is one thing at a time, pretty much. So, you guys want a copy? I see a lot of pencils. I'll wait a little bit. This next one, you won't be able to do the exercises. So, not only am I able to multiply f, right? But I'm also able to multiply x, right? You can do both at the same time. Yep. We can also add or subtract a number from that. We can also add or subtract a number from that. We could do all of them at once. Okay? So, these are all the transformations put into one. Okay? And I had to use different letters instead of A all the way across because they're different numbers, right?
So it could just be.
Yeah, I'm just picking random letters. So, I mean, we put A here before, we put A here before, we put A here before, but now I'm just using different letters for each one. But the point is, we have multiplied x, haven't we?
Yeah.
We have added and subtracted numbers inside the parentheses, haven't we? And we have added and subtracted outside the parentheses, right? So, just same stuff, but we're putting them all in one. So let's talk about this. On your notes, so all right, so first of all, I want you guys, we're going to draw some, you guys got this written down? This is important. I want you guys to write this. You're going to shift left or right H spaces. That's step one. So you guys write on your notes somewhere anyway. So remember the one that we add or subtract inside the parentheses? That means move left or right. If it's positive, we go left. If it's negative, we go right. Remember that? So whatever that number is, that's the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your dots and you're going to shift them to the left or right based on whatever number is being added or subtracted there. That's the first thing you do. The order actually does matter, just so you guys know. Okay? The next thing you're going to do is, what does that guy do?
Which guy?
That's our second step. No.
Oh, divide.
It divides the x's by, in this case, b, right?
Yeah.
So, second step is to divide the x's by b. That's your second step. So step 2 is divide the x's by b. So the first thing you do is you're going to move your dots all over to the left or right. Take them all in, slide them, if there's a number there. And then you're going to take all those new x values that you just created, and you're going to divide them all by b. What is next? The next thing that you're going to do is, what does that do?
That multiplies all the y values by a.
That's step 3. That's step 3. Yeah. Step 4, what does this guy do when you add or subtract a number outside the parentheses?
It's either.
It shifts you up or down. If it's positive, you go up. If it's negative, you go down. You go up or down k spaces. And that's your last step. So, now they don't always have to have a number in every spot. So if they don't have a number in a spot, then you don't do it. So for instance, if there's no b, then you're not going to do step 2. You'll just go straight over to step 3. Okay? But this is the order you'll go in. The first thing you do is shift left or right, whatever that number is. If it's positive, you go left. If it's negative, you go right. Yes? Yep. Next, you're going to divide all your x values by the b. Then after that, you're going to take those points and you're going to multiply all the y values by a. And then finally, you're going to take those points and move everything up or down based on whatever that number is there. All right, so we're going to do an example here. I believe this is the one I printed for you. You guys ready? I don't like that. Okay. So, what do I start with? Which number? According to the steps we just copied, which number do I do first?
1.
The 1. According to that 1, what do I do first? Yeah? Close. We shift left. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to shift left how far?
1 space.
1 space.
For each number, right?
Huh?
I mean, I'm sorry, for
Each dot. Each dot. What am I going to do second? Do you guys notice there's no B? So we're going to skip step 2. Let's move to step 3. What do I do next? What number do I look at next? We're going to multiply our y values by -2. What am I going to do last?
We're gonna
Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. What do we do?
move down 3
Okay, so we're going to shift each point down
by
3 spaces. Okay, so we have 3 transformations we're going to do to that graph. We're going to shift, we're going to multiply, which is going to stretch it, and it's also going to flip it, by the way, and we're going to move it down 3 spaces. So here we go. Let's take this point. We're doing what?
shift
Left
left
1, left 1, left 1. Now I'm going to draw this But that's not our final answer, just so you know. I shifted every point left one space. What do I do next? Multiply every y value by -2. I'm going to change colors here.
No, it's 0 stays there.
So what the y value is 0, right? So if I multiply that by 0, it stays. What's this y value?
That's so 4 divided by -2, which is
No.
oh my, I'm stupid. -4.
So it's -8. So I'm going to take this point and I'm going to drop it down to
4 times.
-8. What about this one? Stays the same.
Oh, so yes.
So now it's been shifted left and stretched and flipped. All right, we have one more thing. What's our last transformation? Take every point down 3 spaces.
Oh my God.
So down 3, and I'm a little bit off my chart, but down 3. Now at this point, I'm going to erase everything else because none of these are the final answer. They were steps that I went along the way. Now you can leave them if you want, but on your notes I would highlight the final answer because that's the final answer. So we shifted, we multiplied, we shifted. Okay? Let's do another one. Can I erase?
Yes.
No?
Wait.
All right. Let's do the next one. So I'm going to let you guys kind of walk me through this one a little bit. Ready? My first question is, what number do I focus on first? Don't shout it out, but take a moment. Talk to somebody. I'm going to call on you in a few seconds. Alexis, what number do I focus on first? The half, the -1, this +1, or -1? That one? You're right. Okay, my next question is going to go to, not her, she's not here, but Danielle. What does that 1 do? Let's write that. Left 3. Or 2. What's the next number I'm going to look at?
Mr. B is 1. Look, the 1.
Why did I say 3? Why did I do that?
Because you're a funny guy, right?
Thank you. I'm glad you guys are correcting me. It means you're getting it. That's awesome. All right, next. What's our next number that we look at? There's something. Good. My next number is this guy. What do we do with that number? We divide all of our x's by that number, right? So, divide x's by -1. Number 3. What's our next number that we focus on? I'm going to call on somebody for this one, so shout out. So we did this one. We did this one. What's the next one? Heidi, what's our next number that we look at? We did this one, step 1. We did this one, that's step 2. Which number do I look at now? Yeah. And that one, we do what with that one, Nathaniel?
You multiply it by the y value.
That's right. So you multiply your y's by a half. Okay? And the last number I pay attention to is this. What does that do?
It goes
Down 1. You guys ready? Let's do it. Take every point left 1 space. We can finish this in 2 minutes, but if you guys pack up, you won't have it. But that's up to you. All right. What do we do next? Divide all your x's by -1. What is this x value? So dividing 0 by -1 stays the same. What is this x value? So what's 4 divided by -1?
-4.
Flips over here. What's this x value?
That is.
So it's going to end up over here. Okay. We took care of that. We did that. Let's go on to the next one. Now we're going to multiply all of our y values by 1/2. What's this y value? Yeah, the green is for the second step. What's this y value? What's this y value? So what's 1/2 of multiplied by 4? 2. I'll finish it. If you want to stay, you can. If you want to go, you can. What's my last transformation?
Next class.
Down 1.
Down
one. Down 1. Down 1. That's your final answer. The rest of it was intermediary steps, so we don't actually keep it. We don't need those. That's my final answer.
I stayed for it.
I don't know why everybody kind of